everybody, this is Angela from A Cat Among Books, and today I have to show you my April wrap-up. For the month of April, I listened to 10 books, audiobooks, and I read one physical book. The physical book that I read was My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. And I have to say, I found another Jace in my life to love. Jace Garrett, the next door boy and boyfriend of Samantha Reed. I really enjoyed this book. It's good now that the weather's getting nice. I kind of want to read some summerish contemporaries to get me in the mood for summer. So it really had a lot of redeeming characters. Samantha, who's pretty much likes to be orderly and perfect and everything, and then she meets Jace Garrett after staring over the fence at, the Garrett family for years. Jace comes up to her one night while she's on her roof, and they get to talking and everything, and she helps him out while Samantha's mother is rerunning for state senate. So I really liked the book. Another character that was a very redeeming character was Samantha's friend Nan's twin brother Tim, who was heavily into drugs and getting kicked out of prep school and everything, but he really turns himself around when the Garretts really need him and everything, and they help him turn his life around and become a better person on top of that. So, that is that book. Now, the books that I listened to, and why I listen to so many books, is because I work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, standing on my feet, working in a factory. So, I like to have something to listen to other than music to tell me a story. And I really like audiobooks because they bring the characters to life even more than if I were just going to sit down and read a book. The people that narrate them are almost, they got to be like actors and actresses and stuff like that, so they can really bring each character to life and give them their own voice instead of the voice in my head. So, without further ado, I will tell you the books that I listened to. I listened to at least 3 Sarah Dessen books. This Lullaby, What Happened to Goodbye, and The Truth About Forever. I also listened to a adult book called Where We Belong by Catherine Ryan Hyde. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, which was a YA contemporary as well as the Sarah Dessen books. Memoir, an animal memoir, I like to call them when they feature animals, by Julie Klam, called You Had Me at Woof, and that book is about her and her Boston Terriers and joining a Boston Terrier rescue and dealing with a lot of different Boston Terriers that she takes into her home and fosters and puts up for adoption. She's very, very humorous. I really like the humor in that book. And I learned a lot of things about Boston Terriers that I didn't know, and rescue groups and fostering dogs and everything. So, another YA contemporary book I read, Simon versus the Homosapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. The one thing I was a little confused about, because listening to it, I was a little confused because the main character is writing a lot of emails to this other character that is only referred to as Blue. And sometimes I had to really listen to the to and the from to know who was speaking to whom. But then when I stopped and thought about it, like, okay, the main character has a distinct voice. And then Blue has a distinct voice. So listen for that difference, and then I'll know which one is talking to who. See, The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I listened to that book, and I enjoyed it. Folklore and humans, mixing with the fae. So that was very interesting. That was the first Holly Black book I ever actually listened to. So I think that she's a good author so far. So I'll have to check out some of her other stuff. Things We Know by Heart by Jessi Kirby. That was a good book. It was okay. I can notice by listening to a lot of stuff and reading a lot of books, a lot of differences in character definition that can make me feel close to a character and relate to them, where some authors just kind of skim the surface on describing characters. So I didn't feel a wholly connection with Quinn. And what's funny about this book is that even though it might sound weird that I enjoyed it, but my cat's name is Quinn, so whenever I hear the character's name, it always makes me think of my cat. So, yeah. But overall, it was decent. Her boyfriend, Quinn's boyfriend, was killed while he was out running, and his organs were donated, so she takes it upon herself to locate some of the organ donors, and the person who received her boyfriend Trent's heart did not get a hold of her or anything like some of the other donors had. So she takes it upon herself to go out and search for this guy, and then she goes to the town where he's at and just happens to stumble upon him in a coffee shop, and then they get together without him really knowing who she is. That she is the girlfriend of the guy's heart that he was given. So, like I said, I didn't care much for the insta-love between her, Quinn and Colton. It just felt unrealistic and a little unbelievable. I really don't think people fall in love that fast. If they do, good for them, but yeah. And the last book I finished listening to last night was Better Than Perfect by Melissa Kantor. I listened to another book of Melissa Kantor's like a month or so ago called Maybe One Day, and I really liked that one. Maybe a little bit more than Better Than Perfect. Better Than Perfect is about a girl who her name is Juliet. She has a boyfriend named Jason, and they're both applying to Harvard in the fall. Their parents are really rich. They live in New York, so I really couldn't relate to any of that. Juliet's father has separated from her mother. Her mother's depressed, takes a lot of prescription pills and overdoses, so she's put in a psychiatric facility. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for you. And that night that happens, Juliet goes to the hospital with her mother after she finds her, and then she goes to the country club where her boyfriend and his family are members, and her friend Sophia works, and there is where Juliet meets Declan and his siblings, who are in a band called the Clovers. And after a mistake, Juliet makes a mistake with Declan, and then there's all this drama and everything. So like I said, I couldn't relate to her and her problems, and I really liked Declan, though. I love the accent, was very hot. I'll say that. Very nice. Very nice. But, okay. So, that is the end of this video. I'm sorry I kind of droned on here and there. Didn't talk about every single book that I listened to or read. So, with that, I look forward to talking to you in another video. So, everyone have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather.